1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, hello and welcome to Dopey, podcast about drugs, addiction, and dumb shit. My name is Dave, and I've made Dopey for a long time, and one of my favorite things about making the show is getting to know cool people, and one of the cool people that I've managed to get to know a little bit over the years is world-class skater, podcaster, mayhem maker, fucking author. Are you an author yet, Andy? You write anything?
No, that's what I want to do. A lot of people have been telling me, you got to write a book. You got so many stories. So that's something I really want to do.
Fucking motivational speaker, sober person, druggy buggy captain, fucking rehab worker, fucking the real thing. Andy Roy, welcome back to the show.
Dude, thank you very much. It's an honor to be on it, dude. It's a pleasure.
Dude, Golden State, huh?
That's right, dude. We just made it to the finals.
It's looking serious for Golden State.
It is. Yes, it is. I'm a big Warriors fan.
They're an amazing team. But you haven't been on the show in a little bit. Last time you were on the show, you did a little story with Scummy Morrison. You guys were in the car and you kicked some good old school Dopey. Before that was the harrowing relapse to come back to the world of recovery. What the fuck is going on with you now, Andy Roy? Catch us up. The Dopey Nation loves you, so catch the Dopey Nation up on what the fuck is going on.
All right. No, dude, everything's been great, dude. Like, since I got clean and sober, dude, I've been the happiest and healthiest I ever been. Dude, I just moved into this new, I moved in this big room I got now, like.
Fancy.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm living on my own. It's cool. Skating, giving lessons. Clean and sober, man, connected to what my work, the treatment center I work at, New Origins, who saved my life. My buddy Ron that owns it is just amazing dude. And I owe a lot to him just from walking in those doors from my last relapse. I think we touched base on last time. Just when I walked into those doors, you know, and I don't know if I told you that, like he had me come out and speak to everybody. And then I relapsed right after, right? And
no, break that down. Tell that story, please.
Well, so Scummy introduced me to Ron and had me come speak. And to be honest, that's right when I was getting loaded. So I was just getting loaded. And I went out there and spoke. And 5 months later, man, I'm like those people that were in the seats that were listening to me speak. When I relapsed and came back my ex-girlfriend reached out to Ron, was like, Andy's on a bad one again, you know, he's using. So he was nice enough to let me come, you know, scholarship me because I had no money. And I sit down in the seats in there, and dudes I'm sitting next to were like, yeah, I was sitting in those seats when you're up there speaking. So it was very humbling it was hard to walk in there. Just 5 months after, I was just up there trying to tell people, you know, just like my story and my struggles and stuff. And then I relapsed, and I'm in the seats with some of these people that were up there, you know, sitting, watching me speak. So it was hard to walk in there, but I did it. And it was the best thing I ever did. And Ron, my sponsor, Josh, man, they're just such good dudes, and they just love and care about every client, every person that walks in there that's struggling with mental health or addiction, man. They truly care about you and just want the best for you. And that love, you know, it went a long way with me, and it changed my life forever. You know what I mean? He saved my life, you know, it stuck. And Ron Hahn is the owner, and he was a pretty crazy dude himself. He was probably crazier than I was. And just you know, he got out of prison and from flip-flops and rode a bike a lot of miles to go to college, and was in worked at a rehab, and he ended up starting his own rehab. You know, he didn't like what was going on for whatever reason, and just wanted to do something different his way, you know. And he built it up to where he helps tons of people, man. And I haven't left yet. You know what I mean? I went through there 8 months. I graduated. I just threw the towel in, man. Like I was such a mess. Like I need as much help as I can. I went in there willing, open to suggestions, therapy, counseling, the groups, morning and nights, and I just opened up, man. I just let everything out that I was holding in for so long, and it was the best thing for me, man. And it just like it changed my life. You
When
know, it
was
was very
that?
humbling.
When was
What's
that?
that?
When was that?
That was so February 13th, 2020 is my clean and sober date. So I went through he had a detox, dynamic detox. So I went through the detox. And then after you go through detox, you go to new origins. And there's like different houses as you like house one, you're there for like 30 days. You know, you program, and then after 30 days, you can get a job. You know, like you got to like do a personal insight. He asks you to do things, and as you're doing it, and you're doing everything they ask you to do, and you're on the right track, then you move to another house and like get a job and start working, and you do less groups, you know, and stuff like that. So you're like, there's like steps to where you start being an adult and taking care of yourself to where you can go out in the real world and live and have a good life, you know, clean and sober. And I just stuck around. After I graduated 8 months, he asked me to be a house manager because I get along with all the clients, man. I don't know. I just like,
I believe it.
I got a soft spot for, we all got a story. You have a story, like everybody that's been through addiction, alcohol, whatever it may be, we all have a story. And if you put that story out there, man, you might someone might be able to relate to that by hearing your story, and it could touch someone, and something might click, man, and like you could change their life forever, you know. So like it was like I just have a like I just like being around clients. I don't know, like I just like hearing their story, what they've been through, man. And I tell my story, whatever, you know.
No, I get it.
And
Every time you've ever been on the show, I get such a response from people how your story really touches them, and you're so like, just your heart is just like in your mouth. Like when you talk, your heart is like shining out through you, and it's so obvious, and like you touch people. So like the fact that Ron saw you actually ready to do it, he knew he had the perfect house manager. You know what I mean? He knew what he
yeah.
had.
And being a house manager is a lot, you know what I mean? Like it is. It's like a 24-hour job, and it was good. And it wears on you, you know what I mean? But I work there 3 days a week because I do like my skating, and I do host event, and I do like other things. So he was. I was thankful that he let me be able to do that stuff too. Go on skateboard trips, whatever I needed to do, because he knew I have other stuff going on. So I was lucky to do that. So I didn't get burnt out too quick, you know, because it's a lot of work, but I love it, man. Like, I don't know. It's just something I really dig. And yeah, man, like it's just, and to see people like from like when they first come in, you know, they don't know what they're going to do, you know, and like, I just tell them, man, just go, just day by day, man, just go with it. Don't try and plan nothing. Just focus on yourself, man. Do what they ask you to do. It ain't a lot, but like little things like self-care, there's so much, you know, just go with it. Don't rush nothing. Focus on yourself, and everything will fall into place. And that, at least that's what happened for me. And I feel like if you just put in the work without you even trying to plan anything, or like things just fall into place, good things, great things, you know? And that's what started happening to me.
I
You
have a
know,
lot
like
of
I
questions.
never,
I have a lot of
yeah.
questions for you. First
Oh yeah,
question,
shoot 'em.
when you're making that speech and you're loaded, how loaded were you? And what were the feelings like when you're speaking to this room of people who are newly sober, and you're supposed to be the example, and you're high? Like, do you remember that experience?
Yeah, I was just starting to get loaded, you know what I mean? But like to stand up there and just like, because you know you work the program, and like it's honesty, man. It's honesty. And all I did when I was on drugs was lie. You know, that's all I did every day. I was just lying, and my, you know, like when I got clean for, you know, when I went to rehab before, spoke like so many people were happy that I got clean and sober. You know what I mean? And like when I started using, I didn't want, like, I felt I was letting everybody down. So then I was hiding it, lying, and it just was building up. So like to get up there and stand to try and tell people, like my heart was in the right intentions, but like I was lying, I was loaded, and that's like, that's not cool at all. So it was painful. You know what I mean? It was real painful. So it's just hard. My intentions are good. And like, I did try and just, and what I spoke, I truly meant,
Of course.
but I wasn't living it. You know what I mean? It was just a fucking lie. So like, it just wasn't cool. And that's not how you live, like it's not cool at all.
But it's what we do. You know what I mean? It's like, if we're not like walking the path, that's what we do. So, I mean, like, it's like the second you have a mood or mind altering substance in you, kind of like all bets are off. And once it happened, it's almost like out of your control at that point. You've been doing this for 1,000,000 years, right? And you're fucking on the path and you're on the beam. Are you like, what scares you? Like, what's different now? Like, are you like, fuck, I've been this far before? Like, do you mind fuck yourself with where your sobriety is now? And like, cause you've gotten to 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
So like,
so now, like, straight up honesty, dude, I'm so happy. This is like like I said, just like, I finally gave it a chance. Like I've been clean and sober, like locked up plenty of times for years at a time, but that's behind a wall, and that's different, This time, this is on my own. I can go out and drink anytime I want. Simple, easy. I've done it everywhere I ever travel around the world. I can find it. It's very easy. But dude, from my heart, from me giving it a chance and being clean sober this long, like, dude, I don't trip on nothing. Like, dude, I'm like so happy. I'm so content. Like, this is like the best. Like, it's like a high itself, being clean and sober. Like, it's like the coolest thing ever. I'm more of a maniac ever now than I was when I was fucked up, drinking, getting high or whatever, and sketchy stuff. Like, and I just do it all in clean fun. Dude, I just have a good time. You know what I mean? I have boundaries. I do events, and there's people that recognize me, like, hey, would you like a beer, or like I'm smoking a joint, and I'm like, no, I'm good, thank you though. I go, thank you, but I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm just happy. Like, I just don't. I know what it leads to. If I have one drink, I'm gonna go get high, and I'm gonna go do it, and I'm gonna be in the gutter. I anything I do is 100%. I do it to the pedal to the metal. So like, I just know, and I'm 50 years old now, man. I've done all that. I'm just having such a good time being clean and sober, and just my human behavior is different, man. Like, I was a real mean person. I was negative. Little things like got to me, argument, like anyone, like I would just butt heads with anybody. It was my way or the highway, And now, dude, I'm just like an open ear. Like, I just like confrontation. I'll get anxiety. I don't want no part of it. Which I like. That's how I lived forever. I lived by that. I had a problem with someone I didn't like. I cut them off. It could be a friend that I know my whole life. We had one bad argument. We didn't get along. They're cut. They're out of my life. Now I live, I could talk, communicate, I mean? And like, it's just different. Like, I'm just happy, man. It's like, it's just the best feeling ever. I wish I would have caught on to this earlier, but
no,
it didn't go down that way.
It's perfect the way it goes down, right?
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I fucked a lot of stuff up and could have had opportunities, and like, maybe financially could have been better, whatever it may be. But like, this is the path I took. It was meant to be. And, I don't like dwell on it. I don't like, oh fuck, I could have done, like, nah, man, I'm living good now. Like, this is it right here. I'm having a blast. I'm like a little kid again. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's just like I said, it's the best feeling ever.
Well, I was talking to I'm sponsoring this kid, and I was telling him about you, and he was like, holy shit, Andy Roy, blah, blah, blah. He like went bananas just when I mentioned your name. So like, you've done so much cool stuff. You're only going to do more cool stuff. I remember the last time we spoke, it was kind of fucked up because you were out skating and you were on the scene and people were getting high around you and they were like,
Yeah.
you can get some of this, you can get some of that. And where was your head out then? Were you just like, what the fuck? I can probably handle this, or it's not going to be that big a deal. Like, what were you thinking? You think?
Like what the last time? When was this?
I want to say before when you were clean and you were just out of treatment and you were doing some skating stuff and there were people around you that were using and you were like, all right, I could probably use a little bit, and it blew up like pretty quickly, right? Is that not what happened?
Like the last time.
Yeah.
Like my last relapse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I got out and it was like the place I was at, it was like it wasn't very structured. I'm not gonna mention no name. I'm like put down, like they're good people, but it just didn't have enough structure for me. You had a lot of free time, and I need structure. That's what I needed. You know what I mean? And it wasn't there, and it's me to blame 100%. But I just thought like, oh, I'm doing all right, and you know, I was going to the skate spot, and dude kept asking me to get high, and like, nah, no, I'm good. And then just one day, I just like, I could do this. You know what I mean? I could do it one time. And that one time just led me going into that relapse, doing lost everything.
That was Bud. What did he want you to get high on with him? Just smoke weed?
Well, he did speed and heroin. So I took a hit of speed, like, oh, well, it's not heroin, because that's
Right.
my main problem. I could do that. And then the speed got me all weirded out because I hadn't done it for like whatever it was. I was clean 5-6 months. And that weirded me out. And then I wanted the heroin to come down because I had to go back to the sober living house and didn't want to be all weirded out. And heroin's going to still weird you out too, but it cut the edge. And it was just off to the races and lying, and it just fell apart. You know what I mean? And it falls apart quick, man. It just felt like
It's when heroin's like that home base in that situation. And if you do speed, it's like, please just get me home. I don't want to be all fucking crazy on speed. And you just want to fucking calm down. That was my relapse when I was in California. My friend was doing meth, and I didn't really want to do meth. I kind of just wanted like a shortcut to do heroin. So like I was like I'll do meth and then I'll get some pills, and then I really want dope, so I'll do the dope. So I can relate. Are you around any of these people? Like now, when you're doing skate trips and you're traveling and you're doing this shit, are people fucking with you like that still?
No, like, dude, really? I get a lot of people coming up to me like, dude, I got sober because of you. Like, dude, I'm so stoked. Like, you're an inspiration. I get that so much now, like even over my skating and stuff, which is neat because that keeps me going and wanting to keep on the right path. You know what I mean? It like when people come up to me, it touches my heart. It really does. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like for what I've been through, and like they follow my story, and like, dude, I got clean because of you. Like, dude, you're an inspiration. Like, dude, you like all the stuff that people have said. I had people cry, like, dude, like in tears, like, dude, like, thank you, you know, and it really touches my heart. So that like keeps me going too. You know what I mean? I'm just so deep involved in this recovery, being clean and sober, man. Like, I don't ever want to let go of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm rolling with this, man. I'm not letting go of it.
You might as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're healthy. It's crazy. I just saw that Tony Hawk documentary. Did you see that Tony Hawk documentary on HBO?
I started watching part of it. I still got like half of it. I went through half of it. But
it's long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was amazed at the way, like, these guys and guys like you, like, they don't stop skating, right? They skate.
No, we don't.
Like, so how do you stay in shape at 50? How do you keep doing it? Like, are you like, is it scarier as you get older? Do you do the same tricks? Like, what is it to be a 50-year-old skateboarder?
I'm still a maniac on my skateboard. I still skateboard. I still skateboard like I did when I was younger. I still think like I could do everything I can. I still skate exactly how I did before. My body doesn't let me do what I have done before because I'm older. My body's pretty beat down, but I still try as much. Like, I still like think I got it. Like, I just don't let go of it. Like, I don't care if I eat shit, you know. And I like eating the pain. I just love pain for some reason. Like, I'm just going for it, whether I make it or not. But I try to eat. I eat better. I do eat better. I cut out like fruit, sugar, and like I eat a little bit of bread here and there. But I try and cut out like a lot of I just try to eat healthy. That's helped a lot. And I exercise. I go to the gym. Uh, I work out in my room. I do my little
Nice.
jailhouse like from when I was locked up, and that keeps my body in shape. So like I still, dude, I still skate. I have more energy than I ever had before. Like I can skate longer than these youngsters. I just don't got it like I used to. But like I still like skate like a maniac. I just won't let that go. Like,
Here's a stupid question. If you fall, you have to fall. All skaters fall, right?
every day, all day long.
So if you fall and you hurt yourself in the past, you could get loaded as shit and not feel the pain.
Yeah.
Is that a trigger at all?
Not no more, man. Like I do like I've hurt myself so bad skating. Like I just deal with it, man. Like it's part of it. And when I first started skating, I wasn't high. I mean, I drank and smoked weed, but like in the beginning, I skated and I didn't use drugs when I got hurt. You know what I mean? So like it's just part of it, and the pain's good. I feel like, because that means you're getting some, you're going for it. So like I was with Scummy. It wasn't skating, but more because he's a motorcycle dude. He's like a crazy FMX or whatever. He jumps and stuff. So
Yeah.
I never rode a bike in my life, and I always like, man, I get on a motorcycle. If I could figure this out, I want to do backflips. I want to go nuts. So he introduced me to these bikes, and I just like, he'd have to kickstart it, show me. Like it took me a lot because you have to have like there's a brake, a front brake, gears. You got to shift with your foot. It ain't like skating, So like it was real foreign to me, but I was just to have that mental attitude. Like, dude, I'm just gonna like think I'm skating.
Daredevil shit, the evil Knievel
Yeah, I'm
shit.
just going for it. And he's like, dude, you're a fucking maniac. You're gonna die on these things, And I just like to go fast. I only know what to brake. I just like. I didn't know what to do or brake, so I'd try and use my feet like Freddie Flintstone, like crash in the wall, whatever. And I was going nuts on a bike, and I ate shit. I got nuts, went down like this little hill, and I like folded, went over the handlebars, and I tried to do like a skateboard tuck and roll. I was going so fast, when I went to tuck, I hit my shoulder. Like I got bad shoulders. I broke my collarbone and broke my thumb. And the adrenaline, so it was pretty fucking painful. I couldn't get my shirt off, but Scummy just loves to like. I'm like, what's the crash dummy?
The crash test dummy,
yeah. He's like one of those. So he's like, oh, you're fine. So he ended up like, after I did that later on that night, there was like a pit bike for the smaller bikes, like a contest, like to jump over the pole, how high it goes. And I had a broken collarbone, like a broken thumb. It was like swollen. My shoulder, I could barely move it, but I still got on the bike, and there was like this gnarly jump, and I had tried it like in the past, and I never made it. I kept eating shit. So we have a buddy, Colby Raha. He's like one of the gnarliest on a motorcycle right now. I followed him, and I ended up jumping it on a broken collarbone and a broken thumb and landed it. And then I was jumping over this pole. The next day, it was a different story. I couldn't move. I was out for like 6 months. My thumb was like, I couldn't move, but like the adrenaline, I was just so stoked. It was like, that's a drug for me. You know what I mean? It was just like pure fun. I could feel everything. Like, so like the pain is like a true feeling, So like, I live for that,
It's the pain and the adrenaline. Right. The pain and the adrenaline is like fuel. For me, like I'm like, I hurt my thumb. I'm like, I'm not getting up. I break my collarbone. I'm not getting out of the house. I'm not, it's like, I love hearing it from you though, dude, because you're a superhero, Andy Roy. You're a superhero. That's all I have to say. What was the worst skateboarding injury you ever had?
The worst one, well, I tore my ACL. Ugh. That one was pretty bad because I was out, like you can't walk. But I broke my ribs. I've separated my shoulders. Those ones are bad. I separated my shoulder. My buddy Jake Belts wanted me to ollie like this section at a skate park or in Potrero, and I like ate shit and landed on my shoulder, and there was like a big bone sticking out, and my buddies are all, oh, it's just popped out. It's popped out. So they were grabbing my arm trying to pop it back in, but it was separated. It wasn't popped out. So like that one was pretty painful because you can't sleep right. You know what I mean? Cough or anything. All of them are pretty painful. Like the ribs, I broke the ribs. I fractured I didn't do my one sternum skating, but I did that at a skateboard King of the Road at the finale. But that one was painful. But the ACL probably is a good one, or the separated shoulders. Both of them are in the collarbone.
In your skating career, did you ever skate with Tony Hawk or against him or anything?
I skated. My very first pro contest was at the Powell Skate Park, which he wrote for. And it was in Santa Barbara at the Powell Skate Zone. And I used to skate this park all the time. It was I wrote for Santa Cruz Skateboards. I loved the park. I had a great lot. I skated. I knew the park very well. And then my first contest was there. And I'm in a heat with like Tony Hawk and all these guys. And, I had all their posters on, all these guys I looked up to. And I was like, I told Santa Cruz Skateboards, like, dude, I can't, I don't deserve to be pro. Like, there's no, so I chickened out and I didn't enter it.
You didn't do it.
I didn't do it. I was like, dude, I shouldn't even be a pro skater, And I could have probably done really well, but I was just like, nah, dude, this is Tony Hawk and JJ Rogers and all these gnarly dudes, I was just like, nah, man, I pushed out or whatever, and I chickened out. And then I have skated some contests like Back to the City, San Francisco. I have skated a few contests with them. And he's just a gnarly dude. And I was with Bam Margera, and we went out and skated with him at his place. Me and Steve-O went and set some some wall ramps up to his wall, and all three of us did like one after another, like wall rides on these ramps. So Steve-O brought, and Tony's a rad dude, for as long as he's older than me. He's been around a lot. He's done a lot for skateboarding,
But he's as fucking straight as an arrow, right? Were you loaded or were you sober when you skated with him?
I was sober.
Nice.
I was sober at that time. I was right before I relapsed. So I was sober. I was hanging out with Steve-O, and
I remember when you were going out to the East Coast with Bam's spot, right? I remember that.
Yeah.
And he just got out of rehab, right?
Yeah. I just spoke to him the other day. He's doing good. He just got injured skating. He broke his elbow and wrist.
I saw that.
He showed me a photo. He sent me a photo of his. It's like super bruised and swollen. We're all.
He showed it to you. He showed it to you because he knows that you fuck yourself up and you're gonna know his pain, right?
Right. Yeah. He's like, Andy, he'll appreciate this. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
But
go ahead. What were you about to say?
I'm happy for Bam, dude, that he went through what he did. Because I was with him right before he when he started getting drinking again and getting off his meds, and I could just see it kind of deteriorating, like his well-being, as you would say, and it just getting worse. So you have to go on a little path before, and however he got there, whether it was his decision or not, however he got put in there, I'm just glad he went and he stuck with it. I'm pretty sure he had to stay. He did have to stay there. He lets it be known. If he left, he gets arrested and they put him back and he starts over. You know what I mean? So it was like a conservatorship or something where he was put in there and he had to stay there for until they said it was okay to leave,
But somehow that's the way you save somebody's life. He could go to jail. Some people would be like, fuck it, I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to get fucked up. I mean, that's how Artie Lang got sober too. They were like, either you're going to fucking go get sober or you're going to go to jail. And that's what he did too. And it's like, it sounds like he's doing okay, you're saying. So that's great.
Yeah. I spoke to him and he seems good. I spoke to him on the phone, text, all that. And he seems great. You know what I mean? And I just hope he sticks with it. I know he will. You know what I mean? I don't think he ever wants to, he's
go
not
to treatment
a person
again. And go to right.
Gets told what to do. And I think he knows if he goes in that direction again, he could end up right back where he just went, where, you know what I mean? So I'm my bets are on him. He's going to stay clean. He could do it and sober.
Anybody can do it. It's like we do it. We do it just by doing it every day. There's nothing else to it besides not doing it every day or doing it every day. That's it.
And I'll tell you what, I was a lot deeper into it than he was. So if I could do it, or like you, or just there's crazier people that done crazier stuff than I have that have done it. So like it's there, it can be done. It's proven. You know what I mean? It's just you got to want it. You know what I mean? And if you don't want it, don't waste no. Go do your thing then, and then see how that works out for you. And usually it's not a good outcome.
Absolutely. It's just making a decision. You either do it or you don't do it. And all we can do is our own thing. Like Bam Margera came on with Novak in DopeyCon 2. He was on, he was in the Dopey universe with Novak in DopeyCon 2. He's never been on the show. Maybe one day he'll come on the show. But
Right.
we know all we do is what we can do. And whatever he does, you hope for the best. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? But we can only do our thing, you know what I mean? And hope that our good shit helps somebody else a little bit,
Yeah, exactly. Because Bam seen me when I was all fucked up. So like, and maybe like, damn, Andy's still clean and sober. Like, all right, something might be working, or like, dude, he looks happy, or whatever it may be. Maybe that'll click, and it'll pass it on to him, and he'll want to ride on that deal too. You know what I mean? Because
Totally.
he's very creative. You know what I mean? We all are when we're not on drugs. All of us, like everybody, like, dude, you get off the dope and drink, and dude, man, you can do whatever you want in life, man. You can do whatever
you want. Exactly. I told. Which brings us to our next segment, which is the new segment, Ask Andy Roy. Now,
Yeah.
Andy has done advice here and there. We have a very close friend of our show. She's an author. Her name is Erin Carr. We do an Ask Erin section, so I do not want the Ask Andy Roy section to disrespect Erin in any way. I just always love your voice, and I saw you're doing some advice, so I'm going to throw you a question here. You good?
Okay, bring it. Let's do this.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Okay, Dave. I'm 2 years, 2 months, 20 days clean in Narcotics Anonymous in Australia. I have been miserable due to PMDD, a medical endocrine condition that renders me legitimately suicidal half the month, CPSTD, and PCOS, whatever these things are.
Okay.
I have a therapist, sponsor, home group, service physician, do the step work, always have. Medicated with a GP, which I think is just like a doctor. Seen a psychiatrist, seeing an expensive endocrinologist, a specialist, on a fucked up restrictive diet at the moment called the Bean Protocol, and try to heal it at its core. I do root and sacred chakra meditations, the whole lot, recovery dharma meditation groups, and I'm still suicidal. I don't smoke anymore, drink coffee or even herbal tea, just beans, lean protein, steamed vegetables, and warm water. And now I'm in so deep into recovery and healing and still want to die and feel this incredible sense of dread upon immediate consciousness in the morning, and anxiety, doom, spiritual malady, and terror all day. And yes, I've prayed and accepted and surrendered to turn it over. Now I'm thinking it's life-preserving for me to microdose mushrooms to get some healing for whatever fucked up inner child shit is flaring up as PTSD, PMDD, and PCOS. But I can't share this with my sponsor. I will. It seems easier in the moment to ask you first, or Erin, or Andy. Thoughts? And yes, I will go to a Psychedelics and Recovery meeting on Zoom tomorrow night. Do you know about that fellowship? That's all I know. But yeah, desperate for some oxygen. Toodles. To be clear, I've slugged it out for this entire 2 years, 2 months, and 20 days, as described. For a few weeks, I would throw up upon waking from a feeling of grief and terror and panic. What do you think, Andy? This woman, and her name is Catherine. What do you think? That's a rough story. Australian Catherine.
Well, I'm not a doctor with the mental health, so I don't know about that stuff. But like, it seems like he's putting in the work and stuff. But I would think like. Hanging out with people that are doing rad stuff for me, like, well, we're all going to have bumps in the road, right? We all get those. If you're around good people and solid people that are just doing cool stuff, I think that will come to you, like you could feed off that. And by being around happy, good, positive people, that's just another like something that he could do. I don't know or she is around people like that. Or it might be isolating. You know what I mean? Thinking too much, but be open with what you know. Need to be honest with your sponsor. You need to let them know everything. When you hold stuff in, that's going to weigh on you,
Sure.
and that could bring a that could get bad. You know, so you got to be open, and so she just be. You just gotta. It seems like she's doing a lot to like.
The question is though, she's thinking about microdosing psilocybin. What do you think? What's the Andy Roy opinion about this new microdosing craze?
Like microdose, like mushrooms, and like
Yeah.
I've done all that. The best I ever skated was on acid, and I'm not promoting that, but that was when I was
Okay.
younger. But yeah, but like, no, man, like anything that's mind altering,
Mind or mood
your
altering.
state. You know what I mean? Like, no, like that. I don't believe in that. Like, it's got to be pure. You know what I mean? And I just like, yeah, I've heard people say that stuff, but like, man, you could take that stuff and then you could go so far, man, where you just you don't come back. You know, some people like just trip out, whatever. You get some bad stuff. Like you could get bad. No matter what it is, if it's from the ground a mushroom, you could still like it can be too
Spin
much
out.
and mess your
She's
mind.
talking about these very, very small. They're giving these small dosages of
Right.
mushrooms and ecstasy for depression and ketamine, all this shit for depression now.
No, because anything that you get high on, there's a come down. There's a come down, and it's something that can make you so happy, enjoy life, and like, oh man, this is great. It don't last forever. None of that
It's
stuff
dangerous,
lasts forever.
especially
And
for
they're
someone
gonna-
like you or me. Absolutely.
Right. And you're gonna have to come down from whatever plant, whatever you're enjoying, where you went on that. It wears off, and it's just going to go back to where you were from right from the beginning. You know what I mean? So my advice is I just stay away from that. Just stick with what she's doing, eating right, and just stick with that, eating right. Be open. Like I don't agree with that one at all. Like no.
Try to be around the positive people. I like that. I have another one. You ready for the other one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. He says, "Hey Dave, I hope you guys had a nice holiday up there in New York. All is well in Philadelphia, South Jersey." He says this isn't a show-worthy email, but don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I just ask that you don't use my name if you do decide to read this somewhere. I started working out for the first time in a few years, and I can't believe how weak I am. It's pitiful. I'm like the dopey praying mantis in human form. When I started working out, I could only do 10 push-ups before being totally shot in the ass. Now I'm doing 100 per day, but I have to break them up like crazy to hit 100. Typically, I do 20, 15, 15, then 5 sets of 10. I take breaks between each set, so it takes a while, but we eventually get it done. And then I've been bragging that I've been doing 200 push-ups every morning. So he says, I'd love to know how you do your sets to get to 200 every morning, and how long did it take before you got to the point where 200 was your norm? I'm in the process of stepping off Suboxone, and the exercise has been a huge help as we taper down. I'm taking less than 1 milligram a day now after nearly 5 years of medicated assisted treatment. We have a lot of work left, but I'm confident in our plan and committed to getting off for good. What's your experience with the taper and getting strong when you're coming off of medically assisted treatment?
The taper, well, you got that stuff in your system. So like I like when I went to detox, they gave me Suboxone, and as it got lower, when it started getting lower is when you start feeling it a little bit more. I would work out. I do push-ups too, but like after you get off of it, you get the little sweat for a few days and whatnot. I just rest up and I try to eat a lot, like real good, like when I'm getting off of it, because you need that protein and just like food in you. And then you start getting that energy back, and you start getting the strength back. And I just start doing push-ups, and I'd start doing push-ups. And like you said, you can only get 10, you do 10. And then you keep doing that. Then it goes to 20 or whatever, and you just keep bumping up, pushing yourself. So like yeah, the eating, like, the tapering sucks, but like, that's just when you're like, that's just when you just, for me, I like eat good, try to eat good, try and get like some weight
Put
on
good
me
shit
again.
in. Good
Yeah,
shit
get
in.
that good shit in because you need that for your body, man. That gives you energy. And then you starting to feel a little better. That just it's strengthen your mind by eating
Right.
right, and then that motivates you to like, oh, I want to get some push-ups in, you know what I mean? And you just push yourself, and then I'm going to do 5 more, and then you know what I mean? So I try and do like 1,000. If I don't go to the gym, I do squats and I do 1,000 push-ups, like incline,
Wow.
decline. You know what I mean? But I
So
take breaks.
how do you do the 1,000? How do you break it up?
I do 20 sets of 25. I do 25 at a time.
So 20 sets of 25 push-ups.
Yes. Yes.
Incredible. I do
Yeah.
2 sets of 200 of 100. I do
Yeah.
100, then I take a break, then I do 100, but that's it. I got to get my push-up game up. I got to get
No, it's good. 200 push-ups is great, man.
It's
Push-ups
not
are body
enough.
weight.
Are you kidding
You
me?
get strong.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
know.
up to you. You got to get that. You know what I
know.
mean? Like,
I know. What's the longest you were ever on Suboxone for?
Well, I'd never been on it long because when I was on the streets, I was always doing heroin, but I would buy Suboxone. So, like, if I went somewhere and I couldn't get heroin, I'd have Suboxone.
Right.
Like when I went to BAMS once, I knew there wasn't heroin out there, so I had a whole stack of them, and I would take those. It's not the same, but it doesn't make you sick. Or
I
when
get
I
it.
was going on skateboard trips, I'd buy methadone or Suboxone, but the Suboxone are, like they're tiny, they're like little things, so you could just put it. They're easy to
Hide.
hide,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was never really like just took Suboxone as this like my go-to drug or not. And that was just like a safety net for when I didn't have heroin.
What
So
about
like
long-term? Did you ever do long-term methadone?
yes, I have, man. I have. I always do the 21-day programs, and they'd always try and get me on maintenance. And everyone's like, you don't want to be on maintenance. And then I finally did go on maintenance, and I was still using, and then I got arrested, and I went to jail. And back then, now they give you methadone in jail. When I was going to jail, they didn't give you nothing. You'd be lucky if you got a Benadryl or something, an Advil,
Right.
And I remember, the kick was 45 days. I didn't sleep for 45 days. I thought I was dying, and it was in
You were.
It was a sketchy jail. Like it was a violent jail. It was not a good place to like be sick and weak, and it was like run by Mexicans back. It wasn't like it was like their jail. So white boys didn't have nothing coming, and I was just sick. And 45 days, I'd like maybe sleep a minute here and there if I was lucky, but like. It was bad, man. The methadone, you die off that stuff, man. If you're on a high dosage and they just strip you from it, like it was the worst kick I ever had ever.
I was on methadone for years, and I never had to kick like that. I kicked, I kicked with the program and whatever. How long were you in jail that time?
That time, I think I did 8 months. It was a 8 month stint I did.
So after the 45 days, how did you get through? Was it just like, because that's kind of this guy's experience coming off the Suboxone. After those 45 days, how did you get your strength back? What was like? Did you use in that bit or no?
No, I didn't use, but like I didn't have no appetite. You know what I mean? So I was still weak. So like throughout the 45 days, I forced myself to eat, but like I was barely gaining weight. And then after the 45 days, the 50. 55, I was starting to eat more. And then once like few months, dude, you just start eating like your appetite starts coming back. And I was just like just shoveling food. Like, man, you're missing a lot of food. So like my body just was craving food. So I just eat as much as I could to build up. Cause it's not a good feeling when you're skinny, sucked up in jail. You know what I mean?
Because
when dudes have been in there for a long time and they're healthy, working out and looking like monsters, and you're just like some feeble guy walking in there, and I'm just like, this ain't a good environment to be weak and not be able to defend. Like, yeah, I can fight or whatever, but like, how much damage can you do when you're? I'm coming in 100 pounds, 110 pounds, like soaking wet. So like, once I get past where I can start sleeping a little, I'm getting a day now, like half a night or whatever, like the sleep started happening, you know? And then like my hunger was just, it just started kicking in. And then I was just like eating as much as I could, stacking that weight up, and you just start feeling it. And you know what I mean? Start feeling better and just start doing push-up, you know, like, yeah, it's not fun being dope sick in jail. Not at all.
No,
Not a good place.
it's not fun being dope sick anywhere, but it sounds
Anywhere.
like you were in a bad spot. But that's perfect advice for this guy. So do your small little 10, 20 at a time, but just keep doing them. And like what you said to Catherine, surround yourself with positive people, eat good food. These are great pieces of advice. I think it's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I support the Ask Andy Roy section. Now, before we go, right, you've told a lot of fucking fucked up stories on the program, which I'm very grateful for. My favorite one was the horrible home invasion story. Like that one still keeps me up at night. The Andy Roy home invasion story. Can you think of a story that maybe you haven't told that you'd be willing to share with our audience before you go?
Yeah. So I was digging it when we spoke before on the phone, and like I was like, man, good story. I remembered one, and I was in San Francisco, and I was living at that SRO that I tell stories about, where it was all prostitutes and drug addicts, and I seen people die. It was just a crazy environment that I lived in. But I had that SRO, but I had a girlfriend at the time that lived in North Beach, which is across the city by like Alcatraz and stuff. Now the SRO was in the Mission District, so it's across the city. And I was at the SRO, and I was like, I gotta get high before I go there, because she didn't know about my drug use. So I did some heroin, and then there was my homegirl Sarah. She was strung out on GHB, the date rate, the put you out drug. So I would I did some heroin. I went and visited her, and I did like a couple caps. She filled up like a water ball, like the lid, and I did a couple of those. And then I even stopped by another room in the SRO that had some Oxycontins, and I think I popped like one or two of those, and went on my way and jumped on the bus. And she's like, well, can you stop and get me a burrito? Like a burrito to bring home. And I'm like, yeah, I got you. So I stopped and got her burrito, jumped on the bus.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on the bus, and then I got woken up on the bus with everybody off the bus. And he's like, you got to get off the bus, dude. And I was like, where am I? And like, so I get off the bus, and it was like, been a while. I was supposed to get off like a couple of exits before. It was like the end of the line, end of the night. Get off the bus, dude. Like, I'm getting off work. I got to close this bus down. And I get off, and like hours had gone by, and she wanted this burrito like 3 hours ago, right? And like, so I have to go through this tunnel to get to where's her place. And I get through this tunnel. I got my skateboard. I got her her bag with her burrito, and it's a pretty long tunnel. And I start skating through it, and everything kicks in again, right? And all I remember is the burritos on the ground. It like had like the bags open. I was like hunched over, like completely like chin to chest, and the burritos on the ground. It had opened up and like it fallen apart a little bit. And I was like, oh my God, she's gonna be mad. So I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I took a bite out of it to make it look like I opened it up. You know what I mean? Like I was hungry, so I needed a bite. And I remember when I was like hunched over, I look up and people were just walking by like, dude, this dude's out of it. My skateboard was on the ground. And so I started skating again, and I skated. And next thing I know, like I'm on the ground again. The burrito's like still on the ground, like didn't explode, but the bag was there. My skateboard's like way down, and I'm just passed out in this tunnel. I couldn't get out of this tunnel. I couldn't get out of it. I started panicking, like, how the fuck am I going to get out of this tunnel? Right? And I just like, and it seemed it was 5 miles long, you know, and it was probably just a few blocks long. But I was just like, dude, I can't get out of this tunnel. I'm so fucked up on this GHB, heroin, these pills. I'm like, dude, I'm never going to get out of this tunnel. Like, I'm just going to be stuck here. And my girlfriend's wanting her burrito. She's going to wonder why I'm trying to hide me being high. So I finally, like, my skateboard, like, flew under the rail. So it was like, I couldn't find my skateboard anywhere. I was like, someone stole my skateboard when I was knotted out on the ground. So I look over the rail and it was like in the street and I grabbed it. So I freaked out and I'm like, I'm going to push as fast as I can to get out of this tunnel. And I started pushing and I seen like the end of it, like the daylight, like, all right, there's like the end of the tunnel, dude. I'm getting out of this, dude. I'm getting out of here. And like, I'm pushing as fast as I can. And they're doing like construction at the end of the tunnel. And there's like a scaffolding. And I like push and I like kind of like ollie off like the curb. And as I ollied up, I headbutted the scaffolding and it like knocked me out and I was laid out again. I had woken up. I was on the ground again, but I made it out of the tunnel. I finally get to the house and she's like, really? It's like 5 hours later. I'm like, I got your burrito, right? I tried to wrap it up like it was all good still, you know? She unwraps it and there's like a couple bites. And she's like, really? Like, I was like, yeah, I got hungry. And she knew I did GHB a little bit. And she's like, what happened? I was like, I took a little GHB. I felt I couldn't get out of this tunnel. So it was kind of funny to her, but like, dude, it was just crazy. I just thought I was never going to get out of this tunnel. I just was like, dude, I'm going to be stuck here. I just kept waking up. People are walking by. Like it was crazy. I could hold my drugs pretty good, but like, dude, there's no control. There was nothing I could do to snap out of it. I was that fucked up.
Yeah, the burrito tunnel GHB scaffolding bites out of the burrito. Thank you. That you delivered. Welcome. You delivered the goods. And Andy Roy is a good chance. Andy said you'll come to DopeyCon 3, October 1st, New York City.
Yes, I would love to. Absolutely.
All right, it's happening. It's happening.
Yes.
You're on the ticket. So I'm excited as hell to meet you in person.
Oh, definitely. And I would love to come back anytime. I'll dig up more stories. I got plenty of them, man.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Andy. I love talking to you, and you're a fucking amazing example for everybody, and I love to see you so happy, and I love to hear your stories.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like life couldn't be better, man. Like I just, to anybody out there that's struggling, man, just give it a chance, man. Just give it a chance. If you just like are willing to put in a little bit of work and give it a chance, man, I guarantee it, man. It'll be the best decision you ever make. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I have to just say, man, I try to help people get into my treatment center. I don't know if I could plug it. Can I put my little?
Sure. So, yeah, of course.
So like I have a number and it's 909. 800-0442, New Origins in Redlands, California. But anyone can come. If you're struggling, please give me a call. If there's anything I could do to help you get in and get some help, man, please give me a call. You know, I don't wish this on nobody.
No, and all we can do is do our best to help the next person, and it makes everything better. I have one more question. I forgot my other question. You mind one more question? Did you ever have experience with body brokering? Like, did you ever body broker? Did you ever have to deal with that shit?
No, when I went to treatment in Florida, when like Novak and Tim Ryan and Bob Marrier, sober coach. I don't know if you know him, Bob. He's a big-time interventionist guy. And
I've heard of him.
Those guys, when they got me to Florida, there was they got us all the clients in to sit down, and they're like, there was word of people being brokering, whatever that brokering, where they're getting paid to go into treatment. I knew nothing about it before, and they're like, if we catch anyone doing this stuff, you guys are kicked out. So that's the first I heard of it. I know it goes down, but that's what's so rad about my boss Ron. He don't play. That's why I think, I don't know what it was where he worked at before. I can't 100% say that's what was going on, but like that's why he started hit the New Origins, is because he don't play that stuff. He truly from his heart wants the best for all these people that walk in the doors at New Origins, and like good. So he don't play that stuff, and that stuff ain't cool, man. Like paying to get people high and going into treatment, like that's like against like everything we're trying to do, man. Like no, we're trying to save people's lives, man. Like there's people's lives at danger. You know what I mean? Like this fentanyl is taken. I just lost a couple of friends just last week or a couple weeks ago. Like a guy that I work with, you know, that was doing good, finally got his own place, thought he could just drink a little bit and get high, and then nodded out and never woke back up. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Nolan. You know, like it's a different ball game these days. You can't just experiment and just like, oh, I'm going to try this. Like you're rolling the dice. You know, you don't know what you're getting. It's in coke, it's in speed, it's in the pills or
benzos. Sure. What about? Did you have a lot of experience with fentanyl? I by the time I stopped using it, wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? When you were out there, did you have a lot of experience with it or any experience with it?
Well, I was all the heroin guy, but when I went out to BAMS out back east, 'cause it's more like China wire, like the powder and like fentanyl out there. So I ended up going to Kensington, that place.
Kensington, outside of Philly. Kensington, yeah.
Right. So like I met one of BAM's friends. I'm like, dude, I need to find like some dope. And they're like, dude, we're not like, I don't know where to get it. He lived out in the middle of nowhere in Westchester, BAM did. And he's like, his buddy's like, I'm not taking you out there. That place is sketchy. Well, I met one of his the dude's friends. She was a girl. She was sick. And she's like, I'll take you out there. That's the only place. You can just get it on the street. And we drove out there and I heard the place is sketchy, right? But I was like, I'm like, dude, we're going. So I went out there. It was at nighttime. She was like a pretty girl. So I had her park and it was cold out. It was like really cold out. So they're like, got the big puffy jackets. They got those, the things that cover your face to keep your face warm, you know?
Yeah.
And it was nighttime. So I was like, you park down the street. Anything happens to me, you just take off, just go. Cause I didn't want nothing to happen to her. So I go out there, never been there before. I've heard about it. Like it's sketchy. And I hit this dude up and he's like, yeah, follow me. Starts taking me down this dark road and it started getting darker and darker. He's got a big puffy jacket. I can't see his face.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, this dude's taking me down a dark road and he's going to rob me, pull a gun, whatever it was. I'm like, I'm good, man. I'll figure this out. So I jammed back and found it somewhere else. But it was fentanyl. And it came in that little, like a Band-Aid comes in, like little paper things. And they put it in there and you rip the thing off and pour the powder out. But it was fentanyl and
like wax paper.
Yeah, like a wax paper type deal. So I got like a bundle of those, whatever, however, it was $80 for a bundle or something. But it fucked you up. It didn't have legs on it, but like it was, you know.
You shot it or you smoked it?
I snorted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone says they don't shoot fentanyl.
Huh?
Everyone says they don't shoot the fentanyl. They just smoke it.
Yeah.
You snorted it.
Yeah, I snorted it. Yeah.
You knew it was fentanyl?
Really huh?
Did you know it was fentanyl?
Yeah, I did. That's what was going on out there. I did. But like, I was, you know, like you're sick. You're going to do anything you can to get well, you know? So I didn't care.
But is that why, is that why you didn't shoot it though? Because you were like, fuck, I don't know how strong this is.
No, at that time, like I shot all my veins are gone. I have not, dude. I shot at my wiener. I shot at my neck. I shot at my forehead, my feet, you know, just like anyone else has. But like, so my veins were gone. So I had to snort it or smoke stuff at that point, you know. But I snorted it and it got you high. It didn't last that long, but like it was like different from heroin, that's for sure. You know, so that was like the really the only time I did it when I was out back in Pennsylvania. When I was staying at BAM's. It was fentanyl, but I caught the tail end of it. So that was like really the only time. It was all heroin during when I was running around. So I'm lucky I missed that fentanyl thing because like it's like a little grain of salt, man. You could just take a hit. Heroin, you had to shoot it up to OD. You know, smoking it, you never OD'd. No. Fentanyl, you could smoke it one hit and you could die. You know, like it's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? Like it's scary. I'm glad
it's really scary. Yeah, I mean that a lot of our audience, you know, that's what killed Chris. That's what killed my friend Todd. It's like it takes people out quickly. But I appreciate that story, man. Yeah, you came through with the Dopey and the clutch. You had good advice. It was a beautiful, beautiful time, and I only can thank you. So thank you, Andy.
Oh, dude. Oh, you're welcome anytime, Dave. Like, dude, I love coming on, dude. I appreciate it, man. your inspiration, dude. Like we're in this together, man. Like
We're in this together.
We got this. You know what I mean?
All right, cool, man.
We're a big family, whether we met in person or not. You know what I mean? Like we've been through some stuff, the same stuff. You know what I mean? And that's like, and when you see someone that's been through some crazy stuff and get sober, dude, that motivates me. Like, man, they can do it. I want that. And you smile too, dude. You're like, you could see it on you, and that shines back out on me. And like, I want some of what Dave's got. You know what I mean? So like,
I'm with you 100%.
Gets me fired up. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. This is my favorite appearance of yours, by the way. It's because we get to see each other. It's cool.
Yeah. This is great, man. We gotta do this every time like this. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Andy, man. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you, man. I appreciate it from my heart.
Me too. Be in touch, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. You too,
All
man.
Right.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Dopey, I'm face down on the